What's going on, everybody? Triple Crown 24 back today with my back in the saddle mail day video. This is kind of my recap of everything that came in while I was gone at the Dallas Card Show, as well as tying up a few loose ends on some of the cards that I picked up from Dallas, some that I didn't show off in my long-winded 25-minute recap, which I didn't plan for it to go that long, but you guys know how I am. It happens pretty much every time. And I have some pretty cool stuff that came in, including a comma card. It will actually be up at auction by the time that you see this video. It will end this upcoming Sunday. So looking forward to seeing how it does. I obtained it from a fellow YouTuber. But of course, I'm going to make you wait to see that. So let's wrap up a few loose ends from the Dallas show. I ran into several YouTubers there, and a few of them came bearing gifts for me. So I met up with Ken from Bean's Ball Card blog, and I had purchased a few cards off of him in one of his quarter box sales that he had done. And he passed those along to me. He actually gifted them to me, so big thank you to him. One of them, though, was this Miggy that I did not have from 2013. It's the Band of Brothers. I believe every team has one. It's kind of basically the best three players on the team for each team. So you got Miggy, Prince, and the douche canoe over here. So nice to add a little Miggy Prince action on that one. Same cast of characters on this one here. And you might be scratching your heads a little bit. But I am that guy who does collect used redemption cards. So Mike, baseball collector, who hosted me this past weekend, big thank you to him for having me over and putting up with me for as long as he did. Usually most people don't last that long putting up with me. Just kidding. But I do appreciate it, Mike. We were just rummaging through some of his random boxes, and we found this used redemption. So he said, go ahead and keep it. I do appreciate that. I keep these in a binder. Actually, at the back is the address of the buyer who bought this off of him after he redeemed it. So I guess I can go track it down now. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. And then he also gifted me this card. I believe it was the day after. Maybe it was 2 days after. But very generous of him to do so out of his collection because one of his guys is on it. I picked up a card very similar to this one from the same product. It's a 6-swatch memorabilia, SixWay Relic. You got Josh Beckett, Ivan Rodriguez, and Miguel Cabrera there, all former members of the Marlins from the 2003 World Series team. Pictured with the Marlins, but each listed with their new teams down there. So Beckett with the Red Sox, Pudge with the Astros, and Miggy on the Tigers. And then on the back side, you got Hanley Ramirez, Derek Lee, and Jeremy Hermida. So all at one point in their careers, these guys all played for the Marlins. And this guy right here was who piqued my interest in this card. So big thank you to Mike for passing that along to me. I do greatly appreciate it. And our good buddy Jeremy IPTTM also came bearing gifts for me. I appreciate you guys looking out for me. It does really mean a lot that you guys think of me when you see a Miggy. So he brought these for me, 2020 Allen and Ginter X. He pulled this out of his box that he opened up. The base card there. And a 2020 mini framed relic. I do love these Ginter mini relics and the mini autos too. I don't know what it is, but I love those little Ginter frames that they do every year. So that was that from the gift portion of that. So big thank you to those guys. And then I wanted to talk about the ball a little bit more that I picked up. I had a few DMs asking me why I would buy a ball of a guy who is not in the Hall of Fame on a Hall of Fame ball, which is a very good question. I think it's a very fair question as well. And some people were curious in the comments why Miggy would even sign this ball to kind of begin with. And my impression of Miggy, of course I can't speak for him, but my impression from the story that I was told by the dealer and from other people who've gotten these signed is that he really doesn't care. He's just out there having fun. He'll pretty much sign whatever you want. I mean, you could toss him a New York Mets ball, like one of those little balls you get at the team shop, and he'd probably sign it for you because he's a nice guy. So I do think he will be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not one to want to jinx anything or be premature about this by any means, but I thought it was a really good price, so that's why I picked it up. I'm not the one who chose for him to sign this. I would probably pick like an All-Star Game ball or some kind of World Series ball, like a 2003 World Series ball if it was me, but I'm not the one who asked him to get this signed. So I just saw it and I thought it was a good deal. And hopefully, about 10 years from now, I can look back and be happy that I got it then. If not, well, at least I've got a very awkward and interesting story to tell people if for any reason he doesn't end up in Cooperstown. But I wanted to just make a little bit of a clarification in that on that front with that ball. Okay, what came in the mail while I was away? Let's start off with the comic card. This was obtained from our good friend Card Cutter Garrett. He's Card Cutter here on YouTube. And this is a Holy Grail card for him, but the story behind it is that he actually found another one of these that he graded himself. And him and I looked it over. He shared it with a few different people, and I was one of the people that he talked to about it. And his also came back a PSA 6. Now, he doesn't need 2 6s. I think he was planning on selling the other one if it came back 7 and 8 or even a 9 like we were thinking it might. But when it came back a 6, we were both very surprised, and I think that was the general consensus among the people he asked, because I was kind of curious if anyone else thought it was a 6, and I don't think anybody did. So that goes back to what we always say here on YouTube: buy the card, not the grade. So I ended up with his original 6 that he bought. He is going to keep his new 6 that we think, to quote the eBay sellers out there, looks nicer. PSA 6 looks nicer, or this is just a PSA 6. So this one will already be up for auction in my store. I'm just going to go ahead and toss it up at auction, 99 cents. See how it goes. We'll see if I regret that or not. But this is kind of the Holy Grail card for wrestling out there. I don't really do too much in terms of wrestling cards in my store. Trying to expand on that. I would like to expand into some hockey, some UFC, of course wrestling, as I just said, MMA, anything like that. Even the TCG and non-sports stuff. Eventually I would like to expand, but I probably would need some more help running the store to get that far along. So maybe one day, but this is definitely a good way to introduce wrestling cards into the store. Okay, and then from wrestling to WNBA Prism, I briefly showed off my orange that I picked up in my poor shipping video. This one came in. It's the Kelsey Mitchell Gold. I do have a story behind this one that I'll save for a later time, but I've been picking up her cards along with, for a different reason than my other interest in this WNBA Prism set. But as you can see, I've done pretty well so far in the Kelsey Mitchells. I have the silver, the ice, or the atomic, depending on if you're a Topps or a Panini fan. The orange, that's out of 65. The blue, which is out of 149. And the red wave, that's not numbered, along with the gold, that's out of 10. So I've been picking up her cards over the weekend. I did lose the auction for the black 1 of 1. It just went for more than I was willing to pay for it. There is a black gold up that's numbered to 5. I really have kind of lost interest in trying to pursue it since I can't get the 1 of 1. So I'll probably just try to work backwards from the gold and call it a day. Just pass up the black gold out of 5. And of course the 1 of 1 is now out of reach. Maybe one day it will pop up again, but for now I'm just going to settle with everything up until the gold. But this has just been a fun little side project that I've had a blast doing. And of course, at the show, I was able to get my Sabrina Ionescu silver prism to go along with my base. Would like to still get the ice. Those are really the big 3 parallels that I was after, but we'll see if I can manage to pull that off at some point. They're still a little bit too expensive for me. And then on the Miggy front, it was a good haul here. 3 new cards into the Super Collection. Here's a 2020 Topps Gold foil. And I've had a very, very difficult time with the parallels from this in multiple ways. Number one, just because there's not a lot of update getting opened. As a lot of you know, the checklist leaves a lot to be desired, so a lot of people are not opening it because the box prices are kind of out of control. And they made the parallels pretty tough to pull. Now, the foils and the gold foils are still about the same, so I haven't seen too much of a price hike on those. But the other parallels, they haven't been too kind on the wallets. I have lost quite a few at auction already, and feeling the pressure a little bit to get some of those. So my update venture so far hasn't been going all that well. Hopefully it will pick up here as more and more people open update. Fingers crossed if it comes down in price. Big fingers crossed. But at least on the board with my first of the 5 gold foils I'll need for the collection. Here's a product I saw a lot of people open, and I haven't really had a difficult time finding parallels of for a good price. This is the Orange Pulsar, which is the first off the line from 2020 Select. I do have a gold vinyl of this one, but there are a few low numbered ones that are probably going to be out of reach for me at this point just because I slacked on them and didn't get them when it first came out. So don't know if this will be a rainbow that I'll complete anytime soon, but this is definitely a big step in the right direction if I get really serious about it and being numbered to 13. So these are pretty cool. Little thing I did on this one is I searched in the football cards section of eBay. So if someone who is listing a lot of cards forgets to change the categories, sometimes you will find baseball cards in the football cards section, football cards in the basketball cards section, etc., etc. So if you're someone who's looking for something very specific or looking for a certain player, I would recommend venturing into the different sections where that player does not necessarily belong, because sometimes you might find something, and this one was right there for the right price for me. Last but not least, this one is a huge addition to the collection. I'm going to take it out of the baggie here, show it off. And I've been after this one for quite some time. Really, since I started super collecting, I've wanted one of these. As you guys probably know, I do love picking up my 2012 cards when I can get them. And this was one of the big ones here. 2012 Topps Chrome Gold Refractors. These are numbered to 50 of Mickey. So it's a Triple Crown Year card, and I have noticed that the Triple Crown Year cards are really gaining some momentum on eBay. A lot of the prices for the 2012 cards have gone up, and in the different places that I've seen them at, they have shot up a little bit as well. So you can see here numbered 40 of 50 on the back. The interesting thing about this one is that it was put up, I believe, for like 150, 140-ish, can't remember exactly, on eBay. Straight buy it now, no offers. So I shared this with our good buddy Eric Those Back Pages because he has also wanted to pick up this card. And he said, "What was your offer?" As he usually does when I show him a card like that. And I said, "Well, I can't make one because it's not a best offer." So what we were hoping for is that I would get a seller offer on it, and that way I would get an option to make a counter offer if the counter offer wasn't enabled. Sure enough, about a day later, the seller offer came through. I think it was for like 105, so it knocked off $20 or more from the asking price. So it was somewhere between 125 and 150. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it knocked off a nice little chunk. It was still a little bit too much for me, but the seller did enable the counter offers. So I sent in kind of my, I don't think this is going to work, but maybe I can start a conversation and I'll have to pay up for it, offer of $75. Sure enough, 2 hours later, I got the glorious email to say this offer has been accepted. I usually read my emails from eBay. I don't know if I'm in the minority of that. I also read like my emails from YouTube and all that. So I don't know if I'm the only one who does that or not, but when I see offer accepted in my email inbox, I always do a little victory dance. We'll put it that way. And it was just really surprising to me because I haven't had much luck with the counter offer on the seller offers before, especially when the card is listed for a buy it now price without the best offer feature. So it's always curious to me if the seller is willing to take less for it, why not enable the best offer feature right away? But I won't question it because I ended up with the card. So yeah, very excited to have this in the collection. Closing in on 2,600 cards. I got to do my official count here at some point once I tabulate everything from the weekend. But yeah, just really sweet mail day here. All right. That will do it for me. That's my back in the saddle mail day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I should be back later in the week with something else. Who knows what it will be. Probably a PSA submission preview. That's more likely than not what it will be, actually. But until then, stay safe, take care, and be kind.